This is a hotel room. And not just any hotel room, but rather the most expensive hotel room on the planet at a cost of $100,000 per night. You could buy a nice house in Phoenix, or you could stay here for a week. It's located here in the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas, and today I'm going to take you on a tour of it. I've borrowed this room courtesy of Vegas.com, which is your one-stop shop for your Vegas vacation, letting you bundle your flights and your hotel rooms and your activities and shows into one transaction with big discounts. If you're planning a trip to Vegas, you have to check out Vegas.com, and for a limited time, you can use the promo code DOUG10 for 10% off your Vegas vacation. Check it out by clicking the link in the description below. But back to the hotel room. This is called the Empathy Suite, and it's basically a two-story mansion in the sky. It's effectively an all-new room as part of a nearly $700 million renovation of the Palms, and this is the crown jewel, the ultimate hotel room in Vegas, probably the most expensive hotel room on the planet. And today, I'm going to take you on a tour of it. Now, eagle-eyed viewers may point out that I don't normally review hotel rooms, but I did review a few houses last year, and ever since then, people have been asking me, begging me for more property tours. So I figured, why not come out to Vegas and review a hotel room that costs $100,000 a night? Seems reasonable enough. So let's get started with the tour. Now, I'm standing here in the entry of the Empathy Suite, and a few things to go over. For one thing, it's about 9,000 square feet, and yet it only has 2 bedrooms. I'll explain why in a minute. Now, like I mentioned, this is a 2-story hotel room on the 34th and 35th floors of the Palms, making this the highest hotel room you can get in this building. Before I show you around this room, let's talk pricing. Yes, $100,000 a night with a 2-night minimum. And you don't just go on the Palms website and book this room, you have to apply. And then they do their due diligence to make sure you can actually afford it. The other way to get in here is if you have a $1 million line of credit with the Palms. Then they give you the room as a perk. Now, some other perks that they give you, you have a 24-hour butler who is on call for the duration of your stay. And you also have a chauffeured car service, among many other things. But as I stand here in this entryway, you're probably thinking, it looks kind of dull, until you look over there. And then you see some sharks. The sharks are there because they're art from the world-famous artist Damien Hirst, who designed 6 individual pieces for just this hotel room, including these sharks, which are called winner-loser. Rather interesting thing to see right when you walk into a hotel room. But anyway, you walk into the Empathy Suite and turn to your left, and then you see a medicine cabinet, which seems oddly placed until you discover that it too is a piece of art from Damien Hirst. This one is called Vegas. And the Damien Hirst theme continues throughout the room, specifically with butterflies and medicine or pills. Keep that in your mind as I'm showing you around, because there are a lot of rather interesting Easter eggs related to those items. And there's more art worth noting right off the bat. For instance, above the bar, you have these marlins in these glass cases, which is a really cool look you can see from a lot of different parts of the room. Although my personal favorite art piece is next to the dining room table. It's this wall of pills called money. You can see there's just pills and more pills, and it's a rather striking look, but it's one that I find rather amusing and interesting, and certainly worth checking out. But let's go back to the bar. And yes, this hotel room has a bar, and I can tell you right now that your hotel room doesn't. But take a look at the top of this bar. It's medical waste. These aren't used medical supplies, to be clear, but you do have these medical gloves and pill wrappers and tubes all throughout the top of this bar. There's even a syringe or two in here. The people at the Palms told me it's a rather controversial piece, but I think it certainly looks interesting and more exciting than just your standard bar. Not that you would mistake this for your standard bar, because it has 13 seats in a hotel room. And as you can see, each of the seats has a little pill on the back, again continuing the theme. Of course, in this bar, you also have a sink, you have a built-in ice maker, which I love ice, I think that's a fantastic feature, and you have all the accoutrements you'd expect from a fully stocked bar. Just happens to be in your hotel room. And next up, another item. When you come behind the bar, you can see there's an iPad here mounted on this little pedestal. And why would you have an iPad in a bar? That's because this controls basically all of the comfort and convenience and tech equipment in this hotel room. I'm gonna go over a few of the highlights. One is that this room has 5 different climate zones. There's different climate zones in the bedrooms, different areas of the room, 5 total different temperatures you can have as you walk through here, which is more than most people have in their homes. And of course, the crazy doesn't stop there. You can use this iPad to close the curtains. A little too bright in here for you? Just go into the curtains menu on your iPad and they will all close automatically. You don't have to press a button or point a remote at something. Just do it on your iPad. And of course, you can also use the iPad to reopen all of the curtains all automatically, so you don't ever have to lift a finger except to tap your iPad screen. And here's another great feature of this iPad. When you stay in a hotel, you want to put the do not disturb sign up or request housekeeping, there's a little hang tag you put on your door. In this room, you can select it through the iPad. You don't have to walk all the way to the door and put a little placard there. Instead, just tap a button and it turns on a little panel outside the door, letting housekeeping know that you're not to be disturbed or that you want housekeeping. Pretty cool. And by the way, it's worth noting that this iPad is not unique to behind the bar. There are iPads like this all throughout this room. I think there's 5 or 6 of them. So no matter where you are, you have easy access to close the curtains or request housekeeping or basically anything else. And next up, moving away from the bar, we walk now towards the living area, or one of them, and the dining room table, and here in the kitchen. Now the kitchen is over here in a corner, probably not gonna be doing much cooking or food prep while you're staying in this room, but it is here. And there's a nifty little feature. You can access the kitchen like I just did by walking through the room, but if you have like a caterer coming over to make food, you don't want them to walk through your party. So right when you enter the room, there's a little hidden door on the side. That's your butler's entry to the kitchen, and they can just come right through here, access the kitchen, and they won't have to disturb the guests by doing so. That is a pretty cool quirk. And next up, let's move back into the living area for one of the great seating areas of all time. Now I say that in part because of this view. You look out over the strip, you can see all the other casinos, mountains in the distance, a gorgeous place to be. But to me, the more interesting view is in here because you have the world's longest couch. Now, I don't know if this is actually the world's longest couch, but it's gotta be in the running. It kind of snakes all the way around the room, clearly custom designed for it. I counted, and you could get 30 people on here comfortably with enough room to kind of move around. You could probably get 60 people on here if you cram them all together. Not too often you see a 60-person couch, but that's the situation in the Empathy Suite. So what do all these people do when they're sitting on their giant couch? Well, the answer is they can watch TV if they want to, of course. You can see there's a TV here facing like maybe a third of the couch. But just in case you feel like you're being left out from the TV experience, don't worry. Go along the back of the TV and you can see it's double-sided, and there's speakers on both sides. So if you're sitting at the bar, you can watch the TV, and if you're sitting on the couch, you can watch the TV, which is a pretty cool situation if, for instance, you're having a Super Bowl party at $100,000 a night. Not that that is the only sitting room. Walk all the way across the lower floor of the Empathy Suite, past the bar, and you get over to the second sitting room, which is a little bit smaller, but it still has all of the same magical touches, including the wonderful view. More importantly, though, it has these swings, which are nice and fluffy. There are 4 of them. So if you get tired of sitting in your sitting area, you can come over here, sit in your sitting area, and swing. Now, moving on from your swinging sitting area, you can come over here and you have yet another living room with yet another television. You can start to see how this place ends up at 9,000 square feet with only 2 bedrooms. The whole point of a place like this is you use this space to hang out, have a party, be with your friends, whatever. You don't exactly need 7 bedrooms in here, but apparently you need many, many seating and relaxation areas. And next up, moving on from that second living area, you come behind another wall with a giant television and you enter what I'm calling the game area, because you have some games in here. For one thing, you have like a psychedelic pool table, a multicolored pool table, not like any you've probably ever played on before. I'm not sure how all the lines on the table would affect lining up your shots, but it would certainly be interesting to play here. Over on the other side of the room, you have a foosball table, which is also rather interesting because it's glass. I've never seen a foosball table that looks like this before, but maybe this is what foosball tables look like for rich people. And speaking of interesting looking games, back in the sitting room there's a chess set with square pieces. Doesn't look very practical, but it certainly looks cool, kind of in keeping with the theme of the other cool looking games. And next up, you leave the game room, come over to the side, there's a little door, but before you open it, take a look at the wallpaper in this room. You can see some subtle butterflies in here. Like I told you, there are a lot of little butterfly and pill-related Easter eggs throughout this room. You've probably already seen some, and that's another. But anyway, open up this door and you enter the bathroom that I'm sitting in, which is gigantic. I've stayed in hotel rooms that are smaller than this bathroom, but this is just a half bath. There's not even a shower or a tub in here. This is just a bathroom with a toilet and a bench, which is just insane. And as you can see, there are pills all over the wallpaper too, again, kind of in keeping with the theme. By the way, the toilet in here is one of these Japanese style high-tech toilets. You can walk up to it, it will sense your presence and automatically open, and you have a whole litany of different controls and features you can use, going well beyond just flush, which is all that my toilet can do. But who has time for pool or foosball or bathrooms, really, when you have this balcony? Come out from the bar and from the living areas, open the door, and you can see this is the coolest balcony I have ever seen. The coolest balcony you have ever seen. The coolest balcony anyone has ever seen. One major reason for that, of course, is the pool, which actually hangs out over the hotel, facing toward the Vegas Strip and all of the other casinos and the bright lights. You're literally swimming kind of suspended above everything out there, higher than anybody else at the Palms, facing all of Las Vegas. That has got to be one of the coolest things you can do in this town. And by the way, this pool currently, I would guess about 95, 96 degrees. I'm sure you can turn it up or down, or you can just sit in here, soak, and look out over the world. And by the way, just in case you don't want to go in the pool giant hot tub thing for some reason, you have a sitting area out here where you can just sit back and relax and hang out. And if that's not good enough, you have another sitting area. So don't worry, you have a lot of different options for hanging out and relaxing in your giant outdoor balcony. One other cool thing out here, the balcony actually opens up to the bar. You can see I can slide open these little doors and open up directly to the bar. The hotel will supply you with a bartender for a party if you want, and then they can serve you not just inside, but also outside, which is a pretty good situation you don't usually see in your typical hotel room. And by the way, one other item worth noting, you can see these columns on the side of this giant pool hot tub thing have these little dots on them. This is another Damien Hirst touch, all of these little multicolored dots that go up both of the pillars. I happen to like it. I think it gives this area kind of a whimsical, cool, more interesting touch than, you know, your typical hotel balcony with a giant pool on it. But anyway, even though the balcony is my personal favorite part of this entire room, there's still a lot more to show you. I haven't even taken you upstairs yet to see the rest. So we go upstairs and you can see all the butterflies along the glass next to the stairway, again keeping with the butterfly theme. Then you can see more Damien Hirst art on this landing, all the additional butterflies. And next up, you turn to the right when you get to the top of the stairs and you enter a bedroom, which is insanely huge. I say that because you're currently looking at like a large room with a large living space and there's no bed in it. The bed is in the other part of the bedroom elsewhere. That's just how big this room is. It has a bed and a seating area and like this little nest thing hanging from the ceiling, which you can just kind of curl up in and hang out if that's what you want to do in your bedroom. And you have some interesting views up here. In part, the bedroom faces down over the bar area and into the living space within the suite. You also have a view kind of over the balcony and the pool that's out there on your hanging balcony. Or you can look out the other way and see over the whole city, this incredible view, more of the casinos, the Raiders Stadium under construction, and far more than that from your perch in your bedroom nest thing. But maybe the best part of this bedroom isn't the bedroom itself, but rather the bathroom that's attached to it. The bathroom is quite large, as you can tell, but that's not the most opulent part of the bathroom. Keep going through the shower and the tub and the sink and all that, and you get to the massage room. You have in this bathroom a built-in room just for massaging. And you have a special sink in this room that the masseuse or masseur can use throughout the massage process. Of course, you also have a dedicated massage table that has butterflies on it because you would expect nothing less. As you might expect though, my favorite part of this bathroom is this tub, which has this unbelievable view out over the whole world, this entire valley that we're in here. You can sit in here, relax, and look out on all the plebeians below. And next up, another excellent quirk of this bathroom. In the area by the sinks, there's a little stool you can sit on to put on makeup, wash your face, whatever. But check this out, the top of the stool is a pill. Again, continuing all the pills and butterflies theme throughout. That is kind of an interesting touch. I like that stool. And next up, you walk across the upstairs landing and you enter the second bedroom suite. I'm gonna start with the bedroom where it's fairly similar to the one I already showed you, another rather large bedroom with another amazing sweeping view over the entire city, an absolutely beautiful space. I also like in this bedroom foyer, you have this little table, which is all mirrors and kind of jagged edges, triangles, cutouts. Very interesting piece. I really like how it looks actually, and it fits this space very well. But probably the most unbelievable thing on the second floor of this hotel room is in here. I'm not talking about this door. That takes you back into the hall. It's a second entrance for this hotel room since we're on the second floor. Instead, I'm talking about this door because you go in here and you have the salt room. Ah, yes. The salt room. What's the matter? You don't have one? Before you enter this room, you turn this little switch on the outside to turn on the salt. Then you come in here and apparently salt particles start to fill the room and you sit back and relax, and it's supposed to help with your allergies or your aura or just making you feel more relaxed. Do you want to know the difference between rich people and wealthy people? Rich people have a sauna. Wealthy people have a salt room. And by the way, one thing I love about the salt room, in addition to the fact that it merely exists, is little designs on the walls. If you look closely, you can see imprinted on the walls, you have like a butterfly on one wall, and look around, there's a skull on another wall. It's a really cool look, precisely what you'd expect to find in a salt room, I think. And finally, we move on to the last interesting bit of the empathy suite, which is the bathroom off of the second bedroom, which of course features, once again, its own dedicated massage room. Now the cool thing here is there are two ways to enter this bathroom. You can, of course, just walk through the bedroom, you're into the bathroom. That's a pretty standard thing to do, nothing weird about that. Or you can enter through the back way. There's an entrance to the massage room from that door that leads out into the hall. You come in here, you can see there's a little exercise room with a treadmill, you keep going, and then you're in the massage room. This is how the masseuse or masseur would enter the room, so they don't get to go through your bedroom, see all your stuff, they just come in the massage service entrance. Your hotel room doesn't have that, nor does your house. Now here's the other cool thing about the massage room. Once you're done with your massage, you can either leave through the service entrance or you can leave the other way, which goes directly through the shower. So after you finish your massage, you want to rinse off, No problem, you're walking through the shower anyway. Just turn it on and you can let the water flow around you to increase your relaxation before you go down to the bar or take a swim in your 34th floor giant hot tub. And so that's the Empathy Suite at the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas. Probably the most extravagant, luxurious, and expensive hotel room on the planet. I've never seen anything like this, and I probably never will again, considering that it costs $100 grand a night. But now you've seen it, and I hope you've enjoyed the tour.